Oh, Nini everyone, it's Mary. Um, it's been about a week since I did my last video, and so, I wanted to keep on a somewhat regular schedule because, um, in my mind, I really love other people's videos, so, it's always so much of a pain when, somebody's on a hiatus for several months and, they don't really give an explanation, but, um, you know, so I don't want to follow that example. Um, but it's been kind of rainy and icky and stuff like that, so I've kind of been cooped up inside my house. So it's kind of driving me stir crazy because I love the outdoors and I prefer, at least a little bit of outdoor time. But like yesterday it was really crazy because we've been having, sort of a fall storm, and it's like I went to go pick up my sister from her work, and I went from my front door to my car, and by the time I got in my car, I was soaked. It was raining that hard, which is very unusual for my neck of the woods. But anyway, I digress. Just letting you know what's going on. I wanted to talk about like paganism and, well, obviously, but um the problem of suffering and philosophy and different things like that, because philosophy is something that's always interested me for a very long time. I started looking into philosophy when began, questioning the existence of God and everything like that. So um, it's been something that's been near and dear to my heart for a very long while. I even took a philosophy class in college because, at the University of Washington, that's where I went. You had to have like VLPAs, which is a type of credit, instead of like natural sciences or math or anything like that. They have like literature and the arts and different things like that. Or social studies, that all falls under that category. So, and it's like I could have chosen to go into like choir, or dancing, or all sorts of crazy things like that. It was very hard for me to find, different ways to fulfill my VLPAs. Um, one of them was a philosophy class because it's like dancing. Oh, hell no. So, long time interest in philosophy. I really enjoyed that class. Um, but another thing that's precipitated this is, I've been watching a few like Christian videos. That's sort of a weird hobby of mine, and it drives my sister crazy. Um, I used to watch a lot of like Christian apologist videos when I was still questioning things. Um, and I really enjoyed those, especially like there's this one guy, Veritas48, on YouTube for a long while, and he was probably my favorite one. Unfortunately, his channel isn't up anymore because because he used to like do arguments for the existence of God and stuff, and he would also often debate atheists, and proving that atheists uh, aren't anymore as moral as we are. One of them decided to hack his account and take it down, and he never brought it up. So that was really upsetting. Um, but in my case, I also like to watch the ones that are like Wicca is evil or paganism is evil, um, simply because I find it funny, a lot of the time, because a lot of them will make really crazy claims. Um, or very strange inaccuracies and things like that, and I love to watch people with their own videos, like pagan videos, criticizing or critiquing these sorts of videos, because it's so much fun to go back and forth um, with different ideas and arguments and facts and different things like that. So I love to see the opposition sometimes, which drives my sister crazy because sometimes she's in the same room when I'm watching these, and she's like, "Wow, why do you watch these dumb videos?" And it's like, because I want to listen to the arguments of others, no matter how silly they are. But in this case, there was something that really got me thinking. Because I remember seeing some Christian videos where they were like talking about the dangers of Wicca and whatnot. But one of the things that they argued was that pagans don't feel as much of a sense of peace or fulfillment, or aren't as happy in general, than Christians are. or aren't anymore, or they're less happy. Which was very funny to me because oftentimes I'm not always a happy person, and I'll completely admit it. I'm pagan, and I still have lots of problems, but I guess it's more of a human thing rather than being pagan or being Christian or anything like that. So I wanted to, it made me think about an old argument that I remember hearing about that was trying to refute the existence of God or something like that. And it's called the problem of evil, and I'm sure that a lot of you are familiar with it. It's pretty common, especially around in certain circles where people are talking about the existence of God and everything like that. But for those of you who don't know, it goes a little something like this. If God is all powerful and all good, then he would find a way to get rid of evil. Because obviously we know that evil exists in this world. But since evil exists in this world, then God can't be either one of those. If he were omnipotent, he would have the power to get rid of evil. And if he's omnibenevolent, then he wouldn't want us to suffer or experience evil. So the whole thing is that, well, he either doesn't have infinite power, or he isn't all good, because we know evil exists. And I always liked that one. I found it very interesting, but there are a lot of arguments refuting that on the Christian perspective, about why evil exists, why bad things happen to good people and all that. But to me, I always found that the problem of evil better answered by polytheism, because it's, to me, in polytheism, gods aren't all powerful or all good. Some of them, have limits to their abilities, and a lot of them generally aren't always, benevolent towards humans. To me, a lot of the time, a lot of deities, are benevolent, but we're not always the be-all, end-all. Humans aren't the be-all, end-all to, what they're trying to take care of. Sort of the forest for the trees. They may be trying to do what's best for the world, but that world also includes animals, plants, the earth itself, and the universe. So, it's sort of like what's the one I'm thinking of? It's the one where it's like where it benefits the many over the few. So there is that, and in general, I think polytheism is just a better explanation for what we see in the world. We see a lot of evil in the world, and a lot of that evil is perpetrated by humans, in my mind. You have people who are just generally cruel and mean towards one another, and a lot of the atrocities in our world are perpetrated by humans, like genocide, rape, that sort of thing. Whereas the only ones you can really attribute to any deity, perhaps, would be natural ones, like natural disasters, earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanoes, that sort of thing. And in this case, it's not really all that personal, I don't think. There's no, it's like we're gonna smite you because you believe in gay marriage or anything like that. I mean, I live in Washington, and we approved of gay marriage, I think, last year, and I haven't seen nothing. Maybe we have a few storms, but they're nothing to shake a stick at, when you look at like Hurricane Sandy or something like that. So it's like, we approve of gay marriage. We're pretty liberal around here. No punishments. But to tie this back into the Christian vids, it's like, in terms of the problem of evil, I mean, everybody suffers. It's just a part of the human experience. It doesn't really matter about your faith. I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of Christians who are going through a rough time, or who are often sad or have bad things happen to them. Um, and or in my example, I have depression, and so oftentimes, there are instances in where I feel really down. Um, but there's nothing that's going to change that. I mean, I can do things like meditation or seeing a therapist, or I also take medication to deal with neurotransmitters, to mitigate those sorts of symptoms and everything. But changing my religion is not gonna immediately take away my depression. I mean, there are some people who believe in faith healing and different things like that, but I don't. I think it's a giant crock. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're pagan or Christian. I mean, if you claim that you can, just like get rid of somebody's ailment just like that through prayer or something, I don't believe it for a second. I've never seen it happen. And I've actually, oh, that makes me think of a video I saw. There's this great channel called On Knees for Jesus 4, and it's a sort of a parody channel about all the crazy things that certain Christians do. And I remember this one video, it was really good, where this one poor young lady is trying to get a faith healed. She has some kind of problem, I think, with her hips, but I don't remember the exact ailment. But the thing was, she couldn't run, not without a great deal of pain. And so they were doing this faith healing thing. It's like, through the power of Jesus, you'll be able to run. And so, they were doing this, faith healing thing. And it's like laying on of hands. And then they're like, okay, go run. And so she starts running, and she, gets a few feet. And then she has to sit down and cry because obviously it didn't work. So, that's kind of like, that's proof to me that, faith healing doesn't work. But in general, whether you're pagan or whether you're Christian or atheist or any sorts of problem, or any sort of religion, problems just don't go away on their own a lot of the time. We have to do things that solve these problems, and depending on what it is, it could be to go see a doctor or a therapist, or cut somebody bad out of your life, that something like that. And I'm looking at my notes. And in terms of with Comedicism, I probably so this is a pretty generic video. So, but anyway, we're better off when we realize that for pagans, gods, and more specifically in Comedicism, Neteru, can't always make it better sometimes. They're not going to come down and smite people for you or heal an ailment, like just magically. I hate saying magically because I think magic does have a place. But, in terms of like faith healing, where something is just immediately, miraculously gotten rid of just because you prayed or did magic, or not magic, but, faith healing, you appeal to a deity. I do think spirituality, though, is a very good way of coping or understanding why things happen. I work with Set a lot, actually, and it's not because I imagine some people are like, oh, you worship Set? Oh no! But for me, I worship Set as a way of understanding why bad things happen, because he's a deity of chaos, storms, different things like that. So it's like, when your life is chaotic, I think he's a good deity to call on, because it's like, why is this happening? Well, he's Set. He's one of those perpetrators of chaos, so he can help you ride the storm, so to speak. But I think all in all, I want to just say that Christianity and paganism are equally valid in the regard of suffering. Everybody suffers. It doesn't matter what religion you are. And conversion or, almost fanatical prayer isn't going to change your problem. You can change your problem. You can use the help of deities to change your problem. You can use magic to help change your problem, or cope with your problem. But, the problem of evil is something that we all have to deal with, and that's just what I feel. Um, it's something that's universal, and um, it doesn't really matter which God you believe in. So that's pretty much how I feel. If you want to talk about it some more, comment, respond in a video to me, and I'd be happy to talk about it. Philosophy is one of my favorites, so it's all good. So I will see you soon. Synepti.